Did you know that a huge part of the waste you generate at home, sometimes up to 40%, is organic? Think about it for a second. Almost half of what you see as useless, smelly waste destined for the garbage dump is actually one of the most valuable resources you could have. Every day without realizing it, you are throwing away gold. Black gold, to be exact. A resource that has the power to transform poor, lifeless soil into a fertile paradise, capable of giving you the most spectacular harvest you have ever seen. You are about to discover a secret that expert farmers and gardeners have known for centuries. A secret that will not only help you grow healthier and tastier food, but will also turn you into a guardian of the planet, reducing your carbon footprint right from your own kitchen. Believe me, what you are about to see will forever change the way you look at your trash can. Because what is waste to you is the beginning of something new for nature. Let's be honest, managing our trash is one of the great challenges of today. Landfills are bursting, releasing tons of methane into the atmosphere, a greenhouse gas much more potent than carbon dioxide. And a good part of that problem comes directly from our kitchens. Banana peels, coffee grounds, vegetable scraps, everything goes into the same bag and is sent far away, where it becomes a headache for the environment. But what if I told you that this very trash bag has exactly the ingredients your garden or your potted plants are crying out for? We are talking about nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, a cocktail of essential nutrients for plants to grow happily. Every time you throw these scraps away, it is as if you were throwing away free, top-quality organic fertilizer, only to go to the store later to buy chemical fertilizers. It's crazy, right? This treasure is called compost, and composting is nothing more than the natural process of decomposing organic matter, something nature has been perfecting for millions of years in forest soils. What we are going to do is simply copy that idea and speed it up for our benefit. By doing so, we not only create an incredible fertilizer, but we also close the loop from the garden to the table and from the table back to the garden. Think of compost as a probiotic for your soil. It doesn't just feed it, it injects life into it. It fosters a whole community of microorganisms, earthworms, and good fungi that work as a team with the roots of your plants. This microscopic life is the key to healthy soil. And healthy soil gives you healthy plants, resistant to pests and diseases, and capable of producing fruits and vegetables with a flavor and nutrients that those from the supermarket can't even dream of. In the next few minutes, I am going to take you by the hand on this journey. You will discover exactly which kitchen scraps are the most valuable, which ones you must avoid at all costs, and how to set up your own composting system. It doesn't matter if you have a huge garden or a tiny balcony in the city. Get ready because you are about to unleash the superpower of your kitchen. To make a perfect 10-10 compost, you only have to remember two words: greens and browns. That is the entire foundation. Don't be scared, it's nothing complicated. It's just a matter of balance. Like in a good recipe, we need to mix nitrogen-rich ingredients, the greens, with carbon-rich ingredients, the browns. The greens are the nitrogen engine. Greens are everything that is moist, fresh, and full of life. They are the main source of nitrogen, the fuel that starts the decomposition engine and feeds the microorganisms. Think of it as the active part of your compost. Here is a list of the green treasures you surely generate every day. Fruit and vegetable scraps. Almost anything goes here. Banana peels, a potassium bomb, apple skins, lettuce cores, carrot tops, potato peels, peppers that are already getting soft. This is the daily bread of your compost. Coffee grounds and filters. Don't even think about throwing away coffee grounds. They are an incredible source of nitrogen, and yes, you can also toss in the paper filter, which counts as a brown and helps balance the mix. Tea bags. Just like coffee, tea leaves are great. Just make sure the bags don't contain plastic. Many brands already use compostable materials, but check the box if you have doubts. Eggshells. They are an absolute gem. They provide a lot of calcium, which is essential for plants to grow strong and prevents problems like blossom end rot in tomatoes. A tip: crush them a bit before tossing them in so they break down faster. Freshly cut grass. If you mow the lawn, don't throw it away. A thin layer of fresh grass will give your compost a nitrogen boost. However, use it in moderation, because if you overdo it, it can clump together and smell bad. The browns are the carbon structure. Browns are dry, woody materials rich in carbon. They have three missions: to provide long-lasting energy to the microbes, to create air pockets so the pile can breathe and not rot, and to absorb excess water from the greens. Without browns, your compost would turn into smelly sludge. Here are the easiest browns to find. Dry leaves, the quintessential brown material, stock up in the fall. They are the ideal companion for kitchen scraps. Cardboard and paper, cardboard boxes without packing tape, paper towel tubes, cardboard egg cartons, newspaper. All of that is pure carbon. Tear it into small pieces so they break down faster. Avoid glossy paper or paper with a lot of colored ink. Twigs and wood shavings. If you prune some shrubs, thin twigs are fantastic. Untreated wood shavings or sawdust also work wonderfully because they provide a lot of structure. Dry straw or hay. If you happen to have access to this, it is a top-notch brown material. The magic ratio, the secret to success, lies in the ratio. The general rule is to try to mix 1 part greens for every 2 or 3 parts browns. You don't need to bring out the scale. This is more of an art than a science. If your pile smells like ammonia, you've gone overboard with the greens. Add more browns. If nothing happens and the pile is dry and cold, it needs more action. Add more greens. Over time, you'll get the hang of it and know what your compost is asking for. And remember this golden rule: every time you add kitchen scraps, the greens, always cover them with a layer of dry material, the browns. This keeps odors at bay, scares away flies, and creates the perfect balance for the magic to happen. Meat, fish, and bones. Rule number 1. In a home composter, these products rot. They do not compost. The smell is unbearable, and they are a magnet for rats, raccoons, and other animals you don't want visiting your garden. Don't even think about it. Dairy, fats, and oils, cheese, milk, yogurt, butter, and any type of cooking oil or fat are a resounding no. They create a greasy film that repels water, blocks air, and rots everything it touches. It smells terribly rancid and stops decomposition in its tracks. Cooked or processed food, leftovers from a stew, pasta with sauce, pre-dressed salads. Even if the ingredients were compostable separately, once cooked and mixed with oils, salt, and other seasonings, they become a problem. They attract bugs and can throw off the entire chemistry of your compost. Pet waste, dogs and cats. Never, under any circumstances, add feces from carnivorous animals like dogs or cats. They can contain parasites and pathogens that are very dangerous to humans, such as toxoplasma or E. coli, which the temperatures of a home composter do not always eliminate. You could end up contaminating your own vegetables. Diseased or pest-infested plants. If you pulled up a plant because it had a fungus or was covered in aphids, don't put it in the compost. Fungal spores and insect eggs can survive the process, and you would end up spreading the problem all over your garden the following season. Weeds with seeds. Be very careful with weeds that have already gone to seed. A composter that gets very hot can sterilize them, but if the process isn't perfect, you'll inadvertently be creating a weed nursery that you will later spread with your fertilizer. Coal ashes or briquettes. Barbecue ashes are full of chemical additives that are terrible for plants and soil microbes. Do not confuse them with clean wood ash, which can be used in small amounts. Non-organic items, it seems obvious, but it never hurts to repeat it. Plastics, metals, glass, diapers, cigarette butts, synthetic fabrics. None of this decomposes, and it only serves to contaminate your compost. A note on citrus and onions. It is often said that they shouldn't be composted. The truth is that they can be, but in moderation. If you add too many, their acidity can slow down the microbes a bit. Just don't try to make a compost that is 50% orange peels. If you cut them into small pieces, they integrate better. In a well-balanced pile, a little citrus or onion scraps are no problem at all. Following these rules will save you a lot of headaches and ensure a healthy and productive compost, not a source of problems. Choose the containers. The easiest way is to use 2 or 3 5-gallon plastic buckets with lids, the kind used for paint or food. Clean them well, of course. One of the buckets will be the base to collect the liquid, the compost tea, and the others will be the modules where the magic will happen. The preparation, holes, holes, and more holes. Oxygen is the key. Without air, your scraps will rot instead of composting. So grab a drill and make a bunch of holes in the bottom of two of the buckets, the ones that will go on top. Make them about 5/16 inch in diameter, spaced about 2 inches apart. These holes are vital for water to drain and air to circulate. Now also make a few holes in the sides of those same buckets and in their lids. This will create a constant airflow that will keep the microorganisms happy and prevent bad odors. The base bucket, the one that collects the liquid, does not have holes unless you want to put a small spigot at the bottom to drain the leachate more comfortably. Assembly in the first layer, stack the buckets. At the very bottom, the bucket without holes. On top of it, one of the ones you drilled. That's it. You now have your composter. Now for the first layer. This is super important so that the first scraps don't clump together and clog the holes. Create a bed of about 4 to 6 inches at the bottom of the top bucket. With what? With chunky brown material, twigs, pieces of crumpled cardboard, a good handful of dry leaves. This will create a spongy and well-aerated base. The filling, the lasagna method. Here is where the good stuff begins. You are going to build your compost in layers as if it were a lasagna. Green layer, add your kitchen scraps, fruit peels, coffee grounds, vegetables. A tip, chop up the larger scraps. The smaller they are, the faster they will break down. Don't make a very thick layer. 2 to 3 inches is fine. Brown layer. Always cover the green layer with a layer of browns. Keep a bag of dry leaves, shredded cardboard, or newspaper next to the composter. This dry layer is your best friend. It prevents odors, absorbs excess moisture, and provides the carbon the mix needs. Repeat. Keep alternating layers of greens and browns as you generate scraps. Moisture. The sponge test. Moisture is key. Your compost needs to be moist like a well-wrung sponge, but never dripping. If you grab a handful and squeeze it, only a couple of drops should come out. If not, something is wrong. Too dry, spray it with a little water using a spray bottle the next time you turn it. Too wet, add more brown material like cardboard or dry leaves to soak up the excess liquid. Air, the final touch. About once a week, it is important to turn the mixture. This introduces fresh oxygen throughout the pile, distributes the moisture and microbes, and speeds up the process tremendously. You can use a small garden trowel, a sturdy stick, or a compost aerator tool. At first, there won't be much to turn, but as the bucket fills up, this step is crucial. When the first bucket is full, leave it alone and place the second drilled bucket on top. Start filling the second bucket using the same lasagna method. By the time you fill the second one, the contents of the first will have already turned into dark, mature compost, ready to use. Oh, and don't forget about the liquid that accumulates in the bottom bucket. That is compost tea or leachate, a super potent liquid fertilizer. Dilute it in water, 1 part leachate to 10 parts water, and use it to water your plants. The bucket method is great to start with, but the composting universe is huge and fascinating. There are other techniques that might better suit your space, your lifestyle, or the waste you generate. Knowing them is not only fun, but can also give you spectacular results. Let's look at 2 of the most famous ones. Vermicomposting and the bokashi method. Vermicomposting, the power of worms. If you love the idea of having an army of tireless workers turning your trash into the best fertilizer in the world, vermicomposting is for you. This technique uses a very special type of worm, the California red worm, Icenia fetida, to devour organic waste. How does this work? Well, instead of the microbes doing all the work, here the worms literally eat the food scraps and transform them into worm castings, one of the richest and most balanced organic fertilizers in existence. The process is faster than normal composting, generates no heat, and has no smell if you do it right, making it perfect to keep even indoors. The system usually consists of stacked trays with a grid bottom. The worms live in the top trays where you add their food. As they eat everything, they move up toward the fresh food, leaving the worm castings below ready for you to harvest. In addition to the castings, a liquid is also generated, worm tea, which is an incredible liquid fertilizer. What do the worms eat? They love fruit and vegetable scraps. coffee grounds, and crushed eggshells. But they are a bit pickier than a regular compost pile. No citrus, no onions, no garlic in large quantities, and nothing spicy because it irritates them. Bokashi, the fermentation revolution. Bokashi is a Japanese technique that turns everything upside down. It is not true composting, but an oxygen-free anaerobic fermentation process. Its superpower is that it is incredibly fast and allows you to recycle absolutely all kitchen waste, including meat, fish, dairy, and oils. And how does it work? You use an airtight bucket with a spigot at the bottom. Every time you add your kitchen waste, you sprinkle it with a special brand containing effective microorganisms, EM. These good microbes start fermenting the scraps instead of letting them rot. There are no foul odors, at most a slight vinegary smell like pickles. The bucket must always be tightly closed. Every couple of days, you drain the liquid that accumulates at the bottom through the spigot. This bokashi juice is a very potent fertilizer. It must be heavily diluted, 1 part to 100 parts water, and it can also be used to clean pipes. When the bucket is full, you leave it closed for 2 weeks to finish fermenting. When you open it, the material won't look like compost. It will look similar to how you put it in, but it will be pre-composted. You have to bury this fermented material in the garden or in a large pot with soil. Once underground, it breaks down at an incredible speed, releasing all its nutrients directly into the soil in just a few weeks. Bokashi is perfect for those who don't have space for a traditional composter, but want to recycle 100% of their kitchen waste. Direct burial, the nutrient bomb. Finally, there is the oldest and simplest method of all, burying the scraps directly in the dirt. It is called a nutrient bomb and consists of digging a hole or trench about 12 to 16 inches deep, filling it with your kitchen scraps, avoiding the same ones as in regular composting, and covering it back up with soil. The soil's own microbes and worms will take care of the feast. It is a great way to enrich specific areas of your garden before planting. The key is to bury it deep enough so as not to attract animals. Each method has its pros. There is no one better than another, just the one that works best for you. The important thing is to start and discover the power hidden in your waste. Have you stopped to think about what really happens inside that bucket? It's not magic, even if it seems like it. It is a mind-blowing biological process, a choreography of millions of invisible beings working tirelessly to turn your trash into the humus that gives life to the soil. Understanding a bit of this science will give you the power to fix any little problem and optimize your black gold production. The process basically has 3 phases, and in each one, different microbes are in charge and the temperature changes. The mesophilic phase, the warm-up. As soon as you mix your greens and browns, the party begins. In this first phase, which lasts a few days, mesophilic microbes that thrive at moderate temperatures between 68 and 104 degrees Fahrenheit get to work. They are the first to arrive, the advanced team. They start devouring what is easiest and fastest to digest, like sugars and starches. Their activity is so frantic that they start generating heat. It's like a room that gets warmer as more and more people enter. This temperature spike is the sign that everything is going well and sets the stage for the next phase, the most intense of all, the thermophilic phase, the compost fever. When the pile's temperature exceeds 104 to 131 degrees Fahrenheit, the mesophiles retreat to the cooler edges and pass the baton to a new team. The thermophilic microbes, the heat lovers. These are the heavyweights of decomposition. They are capable of living and working at temperatures that can reach 131 and even 158 degrees Fahrenheit. This fever phase is the heart of composting. For several weeks, these super-powered microbes gobble up the toughest materials like the cellulose in cardboard and branches, as well as proteins. This intense heat has a great side effect. It sanitizes the compost. It wipes out most plant pathogens, weed seeds, and germs that might be present. Your compost pile becomes a true biological reactor. You will notice that in this phase, the volume of the pile drops significantly as the materials are transformed. The maturation phase, the final touch. When the thermophiles have eaten almost all the good stuff, the pile's temperature slowly begins to drop. This is the sign that the final phase, maturation, is beginning. With the pile cooler, the mesophilic microbes return to finish the job. but they don't return alone. Now other specialists enter the scene, such as fungi, actinomycetes, which give the compost that wonderful forest soil smell, and little bugs like springtails and mites. If you are composting on the ground, earthworms will also join the final banquet, refining the product even further. This phase can last from 1 to several months. During this time, the material stabilizes and transforms into humus, taking on its final appearance. Dark, loose, and with that deep aroma of fertile soil. This is the moment when your trash has completed its journey and officially become black gold. Understanding this helps you solve problems. If the pile never heats up, it probably needs more greens, nitrogen, or is too dry. If it smells bad, it might be too wet, compacted, lacking browns and air, or you might have added something from the blacklist. With this knowledge, you stop being a mere spectator and become the director of this incredible biological orchestra. What started as a pile of peels and scraps destined to be forgotten has transformed. It is now a dark, rich, and vibrant material, full of life. You have just closed a perfect cycle, a cycle that nature designed and that, in the rush of modern life, we had forgotten. Making compost is much more than making free fertilizer. It is a statement of intent. It is saying no to landfills and yes to a healthier planet. It is taking responsibility for what you consume and giving back to the earth a little bit of the much it gives us. It is connecting in a real way with the cycles of life and death that surround us. You have already seen that you don't need a huge garden or to be an expert. You only need the willingness to see value where others only see trash. You have discovered that in your bucket there is no waste, only ingredients. Ingredients for more fertile soil, for stronger plants, for more nutritious food, and ultimately for a better future. So the next time you peel a carrot or finish your coffee, I hope you smile, because you will know that you are not generating trash. You are cultivating your future. You are feeding the small ecosystem that will feed you tomorrow. That is the true power of black gold. Start today. Grab a bucket, gather some dry leaves, and start separating your kitchen scraps. You don't have to do it perfectly, you just have to start. If this story has transformed the way you view your kitchen waste and you want to keep learning how to heal the earth, subscribe and like the channel. We are rediscovering the natural secrets that the modern world tried to hide. Sow your own future today. Nature's next treasure will open up before you very soon.